Page 63, this is the one at the top of the page, the number 3. So I'll go through the process I used. Let's see what we end up with. You see a lot of notes on here. We got 16th notes to deal with, but I'll just go through the process I typically use and we'll get there when we get there. Look it over, it's 2 lines long. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. There's 1 sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major. That's okay, so we're going to use the notes in G major, and actually we're in this position, so we're just going to use these notes in G position because we're not moving around. That's all we're going to do here. And 2/4 time signature. I'm going to take it one hand at a time first because both hands are a little busy, and this rhythm in the right hand needs to be examined a little bit. The right hand starts here, so we already know we're in G position. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. What is going on here? 3rd measure. Remember, 1 E and a, 1 E and a. 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 and. 1 E and a, 2 and. Now, if you need to, everybody's a little different. You can do the 1 E and a for the 8th notes. Like in the 2nd measure, I could go 1 and 2 E and a. Because if I do that, that gets me going. I'm getting ready for the 16th notes. 2 E and a, 1 E and. Or you could wait and just do the 1 E and a when you get there. Or, let's stick around, there's more. You could just keep counting 8th notes, and you know there's 2 16th notes in it. So again, the 2nd measure, 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and. So I could do that too. I do that sometimes because I'm lazy. It's 1 and. 1 and. Okay, 1 E and a. That's all it is. Second line is similar, it's just different notes. Left hand, well, a bunch of half notes for the most part. 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and, 1 and, isn't this fun? Okay, put the hands together. Again, I'm just coordinating the hands here. So we're here, hold the left hand down. Now it's here, and then here. These, 1 E and here. So I'm just coordinating the fingers and the hands. I don't care if I hesitate right now. I just want to try and get the hands to work together. Then once I have that, then I'll go back through it a few 100 times or whatever and get rid of the hesitation, work them out. Slowly and carefully, no hesitations anywhere. And again, you should be able to play this without looking at the keyboard because you're not moving around and you want to develop a feel for the keyboard. It's important. It really is. Once I have all that, then I can add the articulation. And I have the phrasing is all they've done. So at the end of the first line, lift up. Here, like taking a breath. In the left hand, there's nothing marked, which is typical, so you have a choice. I'm going to suggest you connect them. Actually, you do it both ways. Connect them and disconnect them. So I connect them. See at the end of the first line, here. Here. I lifted up for the phrase, but I connected that. So I connected the left hand all the way through. It's getting into the habit of doing different things in the hands at the same time. We need to develop that skill on top of all the other junk we got to do. So we do that. However, you could also disconnect all the notes in the left hand. Just slight disconnecting. Then you lift in both hands. Do it that way. Different ways of interpreting the music. Try it both ways. Experiment. Have some fun with it. If it is fun, I guess. If they really wanted it one way or the other, they would have put in the symbols to tell you what to do. Because they gave you the slurs or the phrasing. You can have staccatos in the middle of a phrase. So technically, I could disconnect some of these notes in the middle of this if I wanted to. I just need to lift up at the end of the phrase. I could have done that. It's interpretation. However, most of the time when they do that, you're going to connect the notes. If they want you to have the staccatos, they'll put in staccato indications. I'm going to recommend go ahead and connect the notes in the right hand, but lift up for the phrase. And you can do whichever you want in the left hand, connect or don't. Don't lift up in the left hand just because you lifted up in the right, though. That's what we don't want to do. If you're going to lift up in the left hand, it needs to be for a different reason, like you're disconnecting all the notes. And then the dynamic is fortissimo, two Fs. Now keep in mind, two Fs is not twice as loud as F. It doesn't multiply or whatever. It's just a little louder. So this is just very loud, and it's the melody. I'm very heavy, and I'm letting the wrist clap. Don't pound on, let the wrist clap. You're just very heavy. The notes go down very quickly. The left hand needs to be sort of a moderately loud or so in the background. Yeah, through the whole thing. And then finally the speed. Maestoso means majestically, like a processional. Here I am, and I am so proud, and you should worship me or something. I don't know what the deal is. That's just very majestic here. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 1, 2. One, two. Now when you start subdividing beats like this, eighth notes and 16th notes, every beat gets a slight natural accent because we want to feel the beat. So this is 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. I'm exaggerating them so you can hear them better, but it's important that you feel the natural accents. 1, 2, 1, 2. If we were not playing eighth notes and 16th notes, say they were all just quarter notes or half notes, then really you don't have to worry about giving the second beat any kind of an accent. It's the first beat that gets it, because that's the natural accent. But when you divide the beats up with this eighth notes and 16th notes and so forth, then each beat gets a natural accent too. The first beat of the measure is still the strongest in any situation. Now there's a note here to transpose it to A major. Get the idea? Again, different ways of doing it. I could play it according to the interval and starting on these fingers, and then in the right hand I'm going to go down a third, up a third, and the right hand goes to the fifth here. And now I go down a second, and then just seconds. They're just up and down seconds. Here we're here. You could do that way. Or I could actually read the notes in the music and transpose them in my head. I went from G to A, therefore all the notes are going to go up a second. So I just play all the notes up a second and play in the key of A major, which is this. So the B's become C's here, C sharps in here, and the G becomes an A. They're just a second higher. I'm transposing the notes in my head up a second from where they're written. I could do that in any key. It's just, let's go to the key of, let's see, G major. Let's go to C major. I don't know where I am, doesn't matter. I could go here. I could go to, I don't care where it is. In that case, the notes are going to go down a fifth from where they're written. So a B becomes an E. Now here you got to think 2 lines or 2 spaces down from where it's written. So we're here. You could do it that way. It's a little tricky when you have to transpose farther away. It's usually a little easier there if you just go to that position and you're thinking each note. Down a third, up a third, down a third, up a third, and then the seconds. Just doing seconds, it's usually easier if you think of it that way. So one way or the other, be able to do either one, whichever. Let's play this together slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Just to check the notes and the rhythms, I'll give us 2 counts because it's in 2/4 time. And I got to slow it way down. In fact, what I typically do when a piece is all 1/8 notes like this, or 16th notes, is I'll set the metronome on 1/8 notes because it's easier to follow. You see, on a metronome, when you go really fast or really slow, it's hard to follow a metronome. When the metronome is clicking 1, click, it goes that slow, it's hard to follow it. Or if it's going click, 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 it's hard to follow that too. So we adjust what the metronome is beating so it's a little closer to the middle so we can follow it. So I put the metronome on 1/8 notes. It's beating 1/8 notes. 1 and 2 and. It's the 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and Because if I put it on quarter notes at this speed, then a quarter note would be half of that, or 30. It's like 1, 2, that's too, you can't follow it that slow. So we adjust the metronome to make it so we can follow it. So we adjust what it's beating. I'll give us 2 quarter note counts to come in though, so let's try it together. Ready, and go, and. And 2 and.